All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at Bubble 8. It says, in this app, the aliens are hungry and have a choice of foods we can offer them. Clicking on a food should replace each of the empty plates with that food. Each empty plate is represented by 3 different image elements, food 1, food 2, and food 3. We'll create a function that updates all the foods with the same image, and that image changes depending on which food you click. This will be the parameter in the function. Okay, so let's take a look here. So the directions are listed here across the top of the screen. So all I need to do is follow these steps one by one, and we should have some success here. So the first thing it says to do is to define your function. So it says at the bottom of the code, drag out a function my function block. And as we can see, that says right here where to do it. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Not a lot of blocks to choose from, so you shouldn't be able to make too many mistakes here. And we're going to rename the function to setFoods and the parameter to food. So this is probably a good moment to take a quick pause and note that we've been talking about this set of parentheses. All right, this does actually have a name. It's called a parameter. So when you see the word parameter referred to, you know they're talking about the thing that's inside this set of parentheses. All right, inside the function now, we're going to use 3 set property blocks. So I need 3 set property blocks. And as you can see, this is even modeled at the top of the screen with an image. So just follow the prompts. We're going to update the image property of food 1, food 2, and food 3. So here I'm going to choose food 1 and food 2 and food 3. Again, I'm trying to make it look like this image. The second option is going to be image. And then it says inside the set property block, we're going to replace the image value with the parameter food. Okay, so I took a moment away and made it look like this box. Again, replacing that last box there with food in all 3, no quotation marks. And then we'll continue on to step 3. So in step 3, it says inside each on event for the food button. So as you can see, I've scrolled back to the top now. Drag out a my function block and replace the function name with set foods. All right, so I got to get one of those green my function blocks, not function my function, just my function. And I'm going to put one inside of each. And as we can see, this is going to be called set foods. That's the name of the function from down below, so you want to write it the exact same way that you wrote it down there. If you called it something else, make sure you use the name that you wrote, but I'm going to follow the directions. All right, and then in the last blank there is going to go the link to the actual food. Now they actually gave those to me up here so I can copy and paste. So the first one is the birthday cake, so that'll go inside the cake button link there. The second one is a slice of pizza, so I'll put that inside next to the pizza option. The third one there is the ramen option, so I'll put that inside the ramen there. And the last one is the taco, so I'll put that inside the taco function. All right, and with all that done, maybe now we can get an understanding of what happens in this app, because maybe it wasn't clear to understand from the directions. Maybe it wasn't easy to understand from the directions. So let's go ahead and run our app. All right, and as you can see now, I can actually offer the different pieces of food to the aliens. And it actually shows those items in front of the aliens. Neat little block of code there, does some different things. So as we take a quick moment, let's dissect this code because we haven't really done that. So what do you think this block does down here? Well, that's the code that actually sets the picture in front of each of the aliens. How do I know that? Well, there's 3 of them. Look, 1, 2, 3 pictures. Okay, what does the code do up top? Well, this code is the one that says whatever I click here is what's going to appear here. All right, we could actually test this out and see if we're right with our hypothesis here. So as you can see, I modified this last block just a smidge here. I took out that last set property block. Don't do that on yours, but I did that on mine to show you how this works. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and run this code now, and I'll click one of my foods, and hey, look at that. The picture only appears in front of 2 of the aliens, not all 3. That's because this last block here was setting this picture to be updated. All right, and because we took it out, it's no longer updating the 3rd alien's plate. And I want to get out of here before this alien gets mad because I'm not getting him any food, so we're going to go on to the next bubble. Okay, last one for the day here today. Adding parameters. So the app lets you click on the aliens to earn points. Every time you click an alien, it will relocate to a random place in the map. The app uses a function with an alien ID parameter to increase the score and move the aliens to a new location. You can run the app now and see how it works. All right, so let's do that. So as you can see now, when I click the aliens, yep, they move somewhere else on the screen every time I click them, and my score variable up here is updating every time to give me a point every time I'm able to do that. Okay, so that's all this code does by default. Okay, so it says right now the app increases the score by 1 for each alien. All right, let's update the app so the score changes depending on which alien you click. This means we'll need to add a parameter to our function. We know what that means now because we just talked about it in the last one. To our function to represent the different scores we can earn. And then the directions are given to me step by step here at the top of the page. So all we need to do are follow the directions. So let's follow those directions. The first one says we're going to scroll to the bottom of the code and find the update score function. Here it is. We're going to press the arrow next to the function definition and add a new parameter called points in the blank box. So if we click on the image at the top of the page, we can see what this is going to look like. A little bit different. We're going to have 2 things in the parentheses now as opposed to just 1. All right, and then in the code for the function, instead of updating the score plus 1 every time, replace this code to use our parameter instead. That means it should say plus points instead of plus 1. And again, if you're confused in the image here, it shows you that change being made as well. Now, if you take a moment and try and run the code anew, it will not work because now the plus 1 is gone, so the score is going to be flipping out because it's expecting this new parameter called points that we have not yet defined up here. So we have to come up here now and update to add the points parameter so that the code works once again. So let's finish this one off and add that missing parameter. As you will see, there's an image up here at the top of the page that you can click if you're having a difficult time following that shows you exactly what to do. So for each one of these, we need to add a new parameter, which means we're going to hit that arrow that faces right to add a space for that parameter, which is the first thing. And then we need to update this last parameter to the number of points that they specify at the top of the screen. So alien 1 is going to be assigned 10 extra points because that's the green alien. Now how did we know that? Well, what I did is I used my hover trick that we use all the time, and when I hover over the green alien we can see that the ID is revealed to be alien 1, which is how I know that's the green alien. And we can repeat that process for the other aliens. So alien 2 is going to get 8, alien 3 is going to get a 6, and alien 4 is going to get a 4. And again, we could use the hover trick to verify that. And once we've got that done, we can go ahead and rerun our code and start clicking. And we can see now the points augment by whichever color and the points that are assigned to that color alien. So no longer should you see it going up by 1. You should see it augmenting by either 10, 8, 6, or 4.